private stuff for them also. All of it's been investigations. So, I mean, I'm not outside of my field.
All right, very good. So now, just help me to understand. I want you to just go back and recount this. So when you left JPD, it was because of all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, it was part of my plea deal.
Okay.
That I resigned immediately.
Okay.
And not seek
work
in a law enforcement capacity. Matter of fact, I couldn't, according to my plea bargain.
Okay.
Which, I didn't have no other choice.
Right.
But when it was time for my sentencing, Judge Linda Anderson advised the federal government that she was pulling that out of
She
my
lifted
plea.
that ban.
She lifted that ban,
Okay.
and she said once my probation is up, I can feel free if I choose to go back into law enforcement. That was up to me. That was a choice I had to make. But she was not going to hold me to a lifetime ban from law enforcement. And so I did my year, which was required.
Year probation, because you never actually went to jail, right?
No, I never spent any time in jail.
Right.
It was just a year's probation,
Okay.
a fine, and that's what I did. And when my year was up, I went back into law enforcement. And what people are failing to realize, I've been in law enforcement ever since my probation has been up.
And when was it up?
I don't remember the date, but it's been over a year and a half now.
Okay.
That I've been back in law enforcement. This is not my first law enforcement job. I mean,
Since you've completed probation.
Since I've completed probation. Right. I mean, I'm currently still with that other department. Still. So this is not anything new.
Right. So when your probation was lifted, you went to the Terry Police Department?
I went to the Terry Police Department.
And you were doing Morgan & Morgan. Were you doing both of those at the same time?
I was doing both of them at the same time. Morgan & Morgan was my primary employer, as well as Terry Police Department. I was working both of them full time. So, like I said, I've been doing law enforcement since my probation has been lifted.
All right, very good. So then you were hired by Sheriff Lewis when?
February the 24th of this year was my hire date.
And you were hired as what?
I was hired as an investigator inside of the Internal Affairs Division.
And then you were promoted to sergeant
over Internal Affairs.
All right. What do you make of for lack of a better word, the flack that people are giving the sheriff about this hire? When clearly you've articulated that you have more than 8 years of experience, you're qualified to do this. I talked to the sheriff, and he talked about all of your credentials and then how you were a lead investigator. What do you make of all of this flack? Think it's a personal attack on you?
I don't think it's pretty much a personal attack on me. I think it's more or less an attack on the sheriff. I can understand some people's concerns about the actual department that I'm over now because of all the court trials and proceedings that we had back with the late mayor. But I stand here today and I still tell you that I did not touch that house.
Right.
I went through a trial and I was found not guilty.
Right.
So I'm awarded, my rights just like everyone else that's been through the system.
Absolutely.
I did my time. So, I mean, that's what the courts require me to do. I did it. And the courts also said that I can go back to being a law enforcement officer if I so choose to, and that's what I did.
Okay, so let's talk about this new role then. You just moved into a new building. In fact, you're still moving into the building. What is the role? What's the job or the role of this office as it relates to the Sheriff's Department?
Well, internal affairs in any department, and one, of course, besides of this department, is to investigate complaints that have been charged against our deputies that are on the street, as well as our detention officers or any other employee inside of the Sheriff's Department. Mm-hmm. And what we do is once those complaints have been appropriately filed, they go to the sheriff, and the sheriff will direct me to go out and investigate them. And what I do is once those complaints come to my office via the sheriff, then I issue those assignments out to the investigators in my division, and we go out and all we do is gather the facts. We are a fact-finding division inside of the Sheriff's Department. And we turn our findings back over to the sheriff and let him make whatever recommendations, if there are any, for disciplinary.
Very good. One of the things that the sheriff talked to me about in an earlier interview, and that was, you're charged with the responsibility of helping to bring this, the department up into the 21st century. He said that, prior to placing you in this slot, that, the technology was out of date, no files were being kept, clearly there was just nothing really going on in this division.
Mm-hmm. And since then, when I first got here, that was one of the things that stood out to me the most, because I did come from a department that was kind of, on the verge and had already started making those changes as far as technology goes. I mean, JPD has a lot of technology that they're constantly upgrading on. Even as local as small as Terry is, they're also advancing in technology. But my goal is to bring not only this division, but if I can help this department up into the 21st century, like computers. I mean, our filing system was deplorable.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep a better record of the complaints as they come in, and it'd be better to track them from start to finish. A lot of times when people file complaints, they want to know that something is being done with those complaints.
Right.
There was no tracking system that I saw in place since I've been here that you can go back and legitimately track effectively. I mean, there were some things that was put together on paper, but as far as computer saving them, there was nothing in place. And that's my goal, to bring this department as well as this division up to speed.
Very good. Marcus, talk to me about rehabilitation and giving people an opportunity to have a second chance, to have a second stab. I know that the sheriff got invited to be a part of a board of a reentry program with the city of Jackson, and just the other day he spoke to the drug course or something like that, where people are, they've gone through the system and now they're rehabilitating, getting back out there. Talk to me about what this second chance, and not just this one, because you've clearly been working for over a year. What has that meant to you?
Well, first of all, let me say this. If we don't give ourselves or our people a second chance, who will? People go to jail, they go to prison, they serve their time, and they come back out, and it's a dead-end road for them. And the only thing you're doing is making it where they have no other choice but to go back to the streets, go back to the life that put them back behind,
Right.
put them behind bars in the first place. As far as it relates to me, I'm appreciative of the sheriff. I think that it gives me the opportunity to get back into something I have a passion for, and I have a passion for law enforcement. I never would have dreamed in a million years that I would be in this position.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I owe the sheriff, everything for giving me the opportunity and seeing something in me that at one point no one saw. And I think that the sheriff he's in a position where he can give out second chances. I don't think there's nothing wrong. I think we all need to give people second chances and go from there. And I plan on taking my second chance and helping the sheriff and this department move forward.
Very good. What about this distraction? Will it hinder your ability to work or serve effectively?
No, it's not. When I took this position, there were some goals that I saw, and I'm still seeing it as we move forward day by day that I want to accomplish. The sheriff himself has goals that he wants to accomplish with this department, and so right now we have a goal. We're focused and we're moving forward. This is like you said, it's just a distraction, but it's not going to hinder us from doing what we set out to do.
All right, very good. Very good.